And so they're basically staging out here, and then they're going to come up in here.
They're already coming in the creeks. The first wave of them are already in the creeks. They've been there for a while now, and they're getting ready. And they're waiting for
Just Mother Nature saying,
Mother Nature to say, go ahead and go, and you can spawn, and it's you're going to have some kind of a success rate.
okay. And then how about like the full moon? Is that the real key of that? I mean, everybody says, oh, the full moon in springtime, you got it, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to study the moon if you're into bass fishing. If you really want to get technical into it, it all has something to do. One thing we're going to have today with this real heavy wind that's coming out of the north, it doesn't matter northeast, northwest, if it's from the north and we've got the heavy moon tide, we may not even see a high tide today. The wind just may keep this water out, and that'll happen a lot of times, and that's when you really have to be careful running this flat, because places that you had a little bit of water, and it's going to be times when that happens, you're not only going to have to know where the channel is at, you're going to have to know where the deepest part of the channel is. And there's one key critical thing that everybody should keep in mind fishing this area. There is no such a thing as fishing too shallow. Your boat might not be able to get there, but the fish can get there.
That's a good point. There is no such thing as fishing too shallow.
Yes,
Look, I see a shallow spot right over there with my name on it.
We got here, we're coming out of this apartment cove, Bob. We got grass, it's old grass that's down in there around all this wood, and we're going to fish up. Past here, we got a lot of uneven areas on the shoreline. You can see how it comes in and out of little places. There's some rock there, some bigger boulder rocks here in the water that you don't see that fish will hold to. And it's a wind-blown, shoreline again. So we're going to throw this little chatterbait in here, mimicking a spinnerbait, and see if we can't trick some of these largemouth bass into hitting it. As you can see, now that we're around that little point right there, Bob, we're going to fish down to this next little cutout, little secondary point up where this tree is and the riffraff. Fish all this wood. This wood's out. The most misleading thing guys will do is they'll get real tight on that wood, and some of that wood is out of the water, but it comes way out, and there's more wood between us and that wood that you can see as it drops, and the fish will hold there. One key thing to fishing this area is you want to, regardless of what tide you're fishing, you want to keep the boat far enough off the shoreline that you can comfortably cast to the shoreline. That way you can most effectively work all the cover that's in this area.
Yeah, because it really fools you. You're just looking at that stuff that's on the bank, throw into it, but yet that has blown out and sunk, and there's lots more out here. So actually, if you get too close, you're missing some of the best water underneath you.
Yeah, one quick retrieve with a crankbait or slow roll and a spinnerbait or anything working the bottom, you can feel all the cover and structure that's down in there.
Yeah, so you want to, also, Carl, don't just go by one time, am I correct?
Right. What you do is, the way I'll do this when I first come out and I want to see where they're at, like we started today, and what we were doing is I'll make a pass like where I think they should be, where I can cover the shoreline, cast to it. If I don't find the fish that I'm looking for, the quality, or I don't find them at all, pull out 15 feet, make another pass, and just start slicing that shoreline 15 feet at a time from the shore out until you find out where those fish are holding, because they're holding somewhere between the wood that is in the water, the wood that we can't see, and where it drops into this channel.
Out to this deep water out here. Sir. So again, you're just going to have to pick your point.
You just have to find out where they're happy to be that day.
Right. And that is, because this is tidal water, and I know you and I, we talked about how we like to fish tidal water, but that's one cool thing about the tidal fish. They move.
You got to remember, this is their habitat, and don't try to tell them how to act. Let them tell you what they want, because you're not going to win if you come out here and try to tell the fish what to do.
Because you got not only a tide, but a wind might position them a different way. The sun, the cloud cover, it all makes it a big difference. So you just got to experiment, and like you said, let them tell you what they want.
Right.
Carl, with this bait, do you have any trouble when you're throwing into wood like that?
No, what I found, Bob, is it hits the wood, and it just has like its own different little, I don't know what you call it, but it just has like its own different little, I don't know what you call it, but it just has like its own different little, I don't know what you call it, but it just has like its own different little, I don't know what you call it, but it just has like its own different little, I don't know what you call it, but it just has like its own different little, I don't know what you call it, but it just has like its own different little, I don't know what you call it, but it just has like its own different little, I don't know what you call it, but it just has like its own different little, I don't know what you call it, but it just has like its own different little, I don't know what you call it, but it just has like its own different little, I don't know what you call it, but it just has like its own different little, I don't know what you call it, but it just has like its own different little, I don't know what you call it, but it just has like its own different little, I don't know what you call it, but it just has like its own different little, I don't know what you call it, but it just has like its own different way it just bounces off of it, unlike somewhat like a spinnerbait, but a little bit different. And it just bounces off, and I keep retrieving it.
So you don't have to be afraid of, I mean, you're throwing into some pretty heavy cover right here.
Yes, sir. Yeah, there's a lot of little branches and stuff in there, and you'll feel it, hit them, and it just kind of, that flat blade, the way it's pulling through there, I think it just deflects off of them. And I don't have a problem at all. Just cast on up in there in those branches, and you'll feel it hit, and it's got so much vibration, it almost like you don't have to make yourself think about stopping it like you would a spinnerbait. It kind of like does that for you. Nice fish, right off the end of that wood.
On that chatterbait, huh?
Yes, sir. Just what?
Woo!
Oh yeah, this is a nice one.
Come here, come here.
Good Susquehanna Flats back channel bass.
Oh man, that's another nice one, Carl.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now look, let's talk a little bit about this, Carl. Look what happened here. Tell us about.
We got that one on that trailer hook. We're in this cold front condition, and we got that on that trailer hook. That would have been one that I probably would have felt him hit me, and I would have lost it. And that's the only modification that in my couple of weeks of using this and getting familiar with this new bait, that I found that I recommend doing.
Here's a good tip for you. Put that trailer hook on, catch a fish like this.
Yes, sir.
That's it. Well, that is a nice fish. You want to put that in the let me unhook it for you there. Oh, there you go.
There you go. He was hooked pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to put this fish in this glory bag, and we'll put him in the live well.
What exactly is a glory bag?
The glory bag, Bob, is a tournament culling fish protection system. And what you do is, the first step is you always wet the bag. It unzips from each end, and you put this fish in this bag. You insert him head first. Everything's done head first. Zip it. When you release him, you unzip here and let him out head first. It has a loop on each end, and when you weigh the fish, you always have the fish head down, everything you do. You hold the bag at a slight angle, so everything's always on the weight on the head. We will put him in the live well here. All you do is you put the bag in there, make sure it's submerged, gets all the air that could be trapped in the mesh out. Put him on this side with the other ones. And what that will do is, that bag will eliminate all the stress off of that fish being held captive in that live well today. When we go to take him out, he will have the same energy that he had when we caught him trying to get him in the boat.
So it keeps the fish from splashing around and hitting?
It just keeps them comfortable in there, protects them so in the rough water they don't get slammed against the live well. In testing, we have found that they don't lose their scales, and they don't spit up their undigested food. That's weight right there.
Right.
It's something that a catch and release tournament type fisherman is going to want. It's going to protect their fish, and it's something we can do to make sure that the youngsters get to experience this sport.
That's cool. And it's called a?
Glory bag.
Well, let me see if I can get a fish and put one in a glory bag.
Okay.
Yeah, Carl, I'm amazed at the action that this bait puts on in through your hands and stuff. It just vibrates like
Yeah,
the devil, man.
it's just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you can feel it's more than a spinnerbait. It's sort of like a crankbait, and it's really
Kind of like all of them wrapped up in one.
well, there you go, good one. Well, he annihilated that, Carl. Annihilated it.
There you go, sir.
There you go. Look at that.
Nice fish.
Look at that. That's a beautiful. Look,
Nice chunky little
chunk
belly
fish.
there.
Well, I came right out off here, just annihilated that bait.
Yes, sir.
Annihilated it. That's, you get not that often, but I saw the fish swirl on it and just crank on it.
Yeah, because you're catching them in that wood, and
Yeah.
you're just a foot,
Yeah.
foot and a half of water.
Yep, exactly.
And they're strong fish, tidal river fish.
People, lake fish are, obviously lake fish, but a tidal river fish is a stronger fish because it's got to fight that tide, and I think it's just more aggressive.
They just get the exercise every day.
Yeah.